here, but you're going to be able to hear us clearly. I want to thank you for coming out here today. Thank you for joining us. I'm State Senator Linda Dorcena Forry. I represent the 1st Suffolk District. I am also the only elected of Haitian descent in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I stand here today with our allies calling on the government of the Dominican Republic to end the humanitarian crisis which it has created. The prospect of large volume deportations is troubling, given the historic mistreatment of fellow Dominicans of Haitian ancestry. In addition to disrupting the lives of hundreds of thousands of hardworking people in the Dominican Republic, it is also creating hardship for many more in Haiti, which is not well equipped to handle the influx of refugees along its borders. This humanitarian crisis is real. A responsible, compassionate government would pause and choose another course. We stand here today, as you can see, as a broad coalition of elected officials, advocacy groups, Dominican and Haitian community leaders to speak in one voice, calling on our federal government to make its position clear that this humanitarian crisis must stop in the Dominican Republic. We stand up for our values, not just as Americans, but as world citizens. And so I want to thank my colleagues who are here today. I want to bring up to say a few words our Congressman who is fighting on our behalf day in and day out, Congressman Michael Capuano.
Thank you. Look, I'm here to echo the words that Senator Forry just spoke. This is an easy issue. We've been fighting a similar issue here in the United States now for years. Mass deportations are wrong, simply put. No question about it. Individual cases are individual cases. The border between Haiti and the Dominican Republic has been porous for generations. Many, many, many people have set up their entire lives in one place, and now simply because they don't have a piece of paper in a country whose paper keeping is not necessarily of the top-notch quality, they want to make sure that everybody that they say it's okay, when for years they didn't care about it. I wouldn't mind if the economic situation was difficult in Dominican as compared to Haiti, but it's just the opposite. The per-person GDP is 10 times greater in the Dominican Republic than it is in Haiti. People are there for a reason, simply to make ends meet. They have been welcomed by the people of the Dominican Republic for generations, and now it's the government, out of nowhere, for no particular reason, who wants to do these mass deportations. I will tell you that we're doing what we can in Washington, and if things don't get better, there are other levers that I'll be calling on to deal with the Dominican government. We're not there yet. My hope is that they hear the pleas of reasonable people and that we don't have to get into a fight, because the Dominican Republic is also a place that we've been proud to call our friend and our cooperating country. This particular action is wrong. It needs to be stopped. And my hope is that the government of the Dominican Republic comes to their senses.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Now I want to bring forward a Cambridge City Councilor. You know, this is not about being against Dominicans or Haitians. We are one family. And this is City Councilman Dennis Benzan, who is the Vice Mayor of Cambridge. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Sak Pase. I want to thank Senator Forry for putting this very important meeting together. It is, you know, the history of the Dominican Republic and Haiti is incredibly complicated, and it's inextricably linked to the legacy of slavery in the Caribbean. And, you know, in the Dominican Republic, we have fought hard for democratic institutions. But the political nonsense that took place during the denationalization of the Haitian people is not democratic. I believe, and the Dominican people believe, in strong democratic institutions with strong values, strong ideals. But under those ideals, denationalization should not happen. The people that have come out against denationalization have been vilified and demonized. There is no space for dissent, and that is not democratic. One of the most important fundamental rights In any democracy is the right to free speech and expression. And what we are seeing in our community is not democracy. Some of the most respected members of the Dominican community who have been at the forefront of civil rights in the Dominican Republic have been slandered by members of our Dominican community. And that's because they fail to understand that we believe in democracy. And if we cannot tolerate free speech, then what we're talking about is dictatorship. I am in solidarity with those that oppose denationalization. But I am not calling for a boycott without exhausting all the processes. The ones who would be most affected by a boycott are the hard-working poor people of the Dominican Republic. We have to be in conversation with everyone, including government officials, the State Department, our congressmen and women, so that we can figure out what is going to be the best benefit for both the Dominican people and the Haitian people. We don't want to execute the prisoner without finishing the case. Finally, both Dominicans and Haitians come to America to be protected by the laws of this country. We are the greatest democracy in the world, but it's hypocritical of any person of Dominican or Haitian descent or any other descent to not allow and respect the human rights of Dominicans or any other people. That is a hypocrisy. And I am here to say that this is the beginning of a very important dialogue between the Haitian and Dominican people. And that dialogue cannot stop today. We must call on Congress and the federal government to support financially both Haiti and the Dominican Republic, because at the end of the day, our people are hard-working people who love America. And so I want to thank again our senator and all the elected officials that are here today that have come to support this issue, but also to make sure that we continue to work together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to bring up next to say a few words on behalf of the Mayor of Boston, Mayor Marty Walsh, who could not be here today, Alejandra St. Julian, who is head of the Office of New Bostonians. Come on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank Senator Dorcena Forry for bringing us all here today. This is a hugely important issue, and I thank the Senator for doing this work and all the elected officials who are here today. My name is Alejandra Senkiang. I'm the director of the Mayor's Office of New Bostonians. We work with the 27% of foreign-born who live in the city, reside, work, and go to school in the city of Boston. Mayor Walsh is out of state. He's in Colorado, but he asked me to be here today, and he wanted to make sure that both Senator Forry and all of our Haitian brothers and sisters and Dominican brothers and sisters know that he stands with you and he supports you 100%. It is imperative that this human rights, it's to make sure this human rights issue is not only brought to light, but that action is taken in support of our Haitian Dominican brothers and sisters in the Dominican Republic. This issue impacts Boston not only because both Haitians and Dominicans are within the top 3 groups of immigrants who live in Boston, but as MLK quoted, he said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The City of Boston does not support the Dominican government's actions that are resulting in the statelessness, deportation, and departure of Dominicans of Haitian descent. Boston is a city of immigrants, and our mayor is committed to setting an example by making Boston a welcoming home for all people, regardless of origin. The City of Boston joins State Senator Dorcena Forry in asking the government of the Dominican Republic to please reverse their policies that are already causing severe hardships for so many people and have the potential to do worse. We also ask all Bostonians to reconsider any vacation plans you have to Dominican Republic until the Dominican government reverses their policy. La ciudad de Boston apoya firmemente los derechos humanos y respaldamos nuestros hermanos dominicanos de ascendencia haitiana en la República Dominicana hoy. Gracias.
Gracias. Present to you a state representative here, Representative Dan Cullinane, who represents the 12th Suffolk District.
Thank you, Senator. It's an honor to represent the legislative district with the highest percentage of Haitians in the entire Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I take the faith and confidence you put in me very seriously, and today I want to thank Senator Forry for her incredible leadership on this issue, not just on this issue in particular, but opening the doors of Haiti through direct line, direct flight, and so many different issues that she's championed over the years for the country of Haiti. I want to thank Congressman Capuano for being here and for truly being one of the most accessible congressmen that represents this Commonwealth, and he deserves tremendous credit for that. I want to thank our... I want to thank all the immigration reform advocates that are here today. And in particular, I want to thank all of you in the media for covering this largely underreported humanitarian crisis.
That's right.
Please continue to do so to get the word out so that we can speak in one voice about this. And when I was thinking about what to say, a quote came to mind that Eli Wiesel wrote so long ago, and that's, whenever men and women are persecuted for their race, their religion, or their political views, that place, at that moment, must be made the center of the universe. And that's what we have here today at the border of Haiti and the Dominican Republic and the Dominican Republic. Today, Haitians, Dominicans, the Caribbean community, and people of all backgrounds who care about human rights speak with one unified voice against this discrimination and stand up for the more than 200,000 Dominicans of Haitian ancestry who are about to be made stateless, and the thousands more right now at this very moment that are fleeing the Dominican Republic into Haiti out of fear of what could be next. This threatens the stability of the entire region. We are grateful that the State Department has rejected the ruling of the Dominican Republic, but this is the time for more action. We urge the State Department to increase its engagement in the region diplomatically and with the Dominican Republic to encourage its government to change direction on this discriminatory policy and to broker a peaceful, humane resolution to this intensifying and, like I said, underreported human rights emergency. Let's keep in mind this is not happening on the other side of the world. This is happening in our hemisphere, just off our shores, in a region that the United States just put $4 billion in to help rebuild after the worst earthquake to ever hit this hemisphere. This is a time for action, and I'm so proud to be here with each and every one of you to stand together as one, Dominicans, Haitians, and everyone who values human rights, to make sure that this area is a priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Cullinan. Very good. Want to recognize a couple of folks who are here as we continue. Representative Christine Barber is here. Thank you, Representative, for being here. City Councilor Tim McCarthy's here. City Councilor Tito Jackson is here. Thank you, Tito. We have Donnell Williams from the Urban League who's here with us. We have Shayna Barnes who's here on behalf of the Congressman Lynch, but also Mayor Carpenter, but also the City Councilwoman in Brooklyn. Thank you for being here. Next on the speaking program, someone who really needs no introduction, was the first Haitian-American elected in office in the United States, Marie St. Fleur, former state representative. Marie St. Fleur.
We've heard the history. I'm going to leave you with three things. This is not a new issue. This is not a new issue, but this is a defining moment. People of Haitian descent have been suffering in the Dominican Republic for centuries. It's not a new issue. The question is, it's happening on our watch today. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? I am grateful for everybody who's pulled us here today. I am grateful for all the people who are not here across the country who are standing up and speaking on this issue. But the bottom line is, talk is not enough. We've been talking. So, I am going to call on the spirit of Sonia Pierre. Sonia Pierre, the activist who was born in the Bataille in the Dominican Republic, who fought for her nationality. She recognized herself as Dominican, embraced herself as Dominican. I think if she was here today, she'd say to us, the work has been going on, the work is not done. This is an economic issue which has been propelled into a human rights crisis. It's an economic issue. And the only way I think you fight an economic issue is to hit people in their pockets. And Dominican people. I don't know a Haitian who doesn't have some relative who is of Dominican descent, because we all were one island. Let's go back, read the history, understand who we are. We were one people. Now it's shifted. There is a government who doesn't like another part of the island. That's okay. But there are people there who stand with us in the Dominican Republic who think this is wrong. We need to listen to them. We need to hear from them. We need to be their voice out here today, but we need to take action. We need to take action. So please, when people say, when the mayor's office says, if you had any trips planned, don't do it, don't do it. Don't do it. Because the only thing that's going to give a message is when there's a stop. If there's diplomacy going on, then diplomacy that is bolstered by your economic pressure will get us some results that we haven't gotten in the past. So, in the name of Sonia Pierre, who was born in that bataille, who saw children born and die on those batailles, who today, her progeny, who were in the Dominican Republic since 1929. Imagine that you had immigrated to the United States in 1929, and today you're sitting as a great-grandmother, and they're asking all your children to leave the United States. That is what they're talking about. That is what they're talking about, and it is wrong. It's been going on, and it can't happen just because we sit on these beautiful steps of our beautiful state house.
That's right.
It will stop because we as a people have made a decision that we're going to be the voice for the people in the Dominican Republic who are being suppressed and cannot speak. And I'm so happy to see my friend Hector come out here, because Hector was the first person to raise the issue for me, and he's Dominican. My Dominican brother Hector around here. And I thank you. I thank you for that. So, I want you to remember Sonia Pierre. I want you to remember the Parsley Massacre of 1933. And I want you to remember that Haiti just is recovering from an earthquake that took place in 2010 and is not in a position to absorb 500,000 people, for whom many of them, Creole is not their first language.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's going to need passion. And so as Marie was speaking, there is a gentleman who just joined us today who was the first one to highlight this issue to Marie and myself. And that is our good friend Hector Pina, who lives here in our community but is a businessman but is Dominican American. And he said to us, you won't believe what's happening in Dominican Republic. We were shocked because we had no idea. So please put your hands together for our good friend Hector Pina, who joined us today.
I stand here with my brothers and sisters from Haiti, and I stand behind them because it's an atrocity to strip down someone that has been living in the Dominican Republic for generations. They are as Dominicans as we are, and we share more than the island, we share the blood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next to speak, because this is a coalition, and we did this most important step of showing it's not a Haitian or a Dominican thing. It is a world issue that's happening today in Dominican Republic. So I want to bring down to say a few words Ronnie Miller, who's the Executive Director of the Irish International Immigrant Center. Ronnie.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Forry. So the Irish International Immigrant Center in Boston stands alongside the people of Haiti and the Haitian diaspora with this issue today. And we're deeply disappointed on this latest policy of the government in the Dominican Republic to implement large-scale deportations of Haitians. Hard-working individuals trying to make a living and support their families. We are also deeply concerned about the prospect of grave humanitarian crisis that will result at the Haitian border. Haiti's infrastructure is not equipped to absorb the influx of tens of thousands of deportees. So we stand today, I believe today is about standing together, not being bystanders, but standing together, shoulder to shoulder at the time of a potential humanitarian crisis. I think this time we need to be upstanders and really stand together in this issue. So we stand with the Haitian diaspora of Boston, the Haitian people, and calling for the government of the Dominican Republic to put an immediate end to this inhumane and discriminatory policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next on the list, I want to introduce to you the Vice President of 1199 SEIU, Herbert Jean-Baptiste.
Thank you, Linda, Senator Linda Dorcena. This is a great day today. I'm happy to be here. My name is Herbert Jean-Baptiste. I'm the Vice President for 1199 SEIU. As the largest healthcare workers in union in the United States of America, we represent thousands of caregivers and their families who are of Dominican and Haitian descent. The threat of the government of the Dominican Republic to deport hundreds of thousands of Dominicans of Haitian descent is deplorable, is disgrace. In light of the recent adoptions of laws that essentially strip the citizens of over 200,000 people, Haitian descent born in Dominican Republic, the deportation can only be seen as an attempt of ethnic purging. Many Dominicans of Haitian descent have spent decades of their lives in the country of maybe second or the third generation residents. They should have the basic human rights to remain in the country in which they are made their homes. Just as we have always denounced racist and anti-immigrant practices in the United States, we denounce this unhuman deportation and set off. We affirm the basic right of Dominican of Haitian descent and call for compassion, unity, tolerance, and humanity solidarity. We call on all elected officials in the United States to demand to hold of deportations, and we urge people of conscience everywhere around the world to contact the White House, the State Department, and the Dominican government to speak out against the discrimination of people of Haitian descent in the Dominican Republic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, I want to bring up my colleague in government, Representative Russell Holmes, who's the chair of the Massachusetts Black and Latino Legislative Caucus.
Thank you, Senator. We in the Black and Latino Caucus deal with struggles of this nature all the time. There are so many times when you have, even as we're going through legislation, should it be more of a Latino issue? Should it be more of a black issue? And that just doesn't make sense. So when you think about the Dominican issue or whether it be an Haitian issue, we folks of color, we have a fight. And when we divide ourselves out, we are less strong than we were yesterday. And so as you see today, you see Dominicans standing, you see Haitians standing, and sometimes we're not in complete agreement. But agreement does not mean unity. So when you say unity is not always agreement. And so we are standing unified, even though we're not always in one accord and in alignment in every statement. But what we are aligned in is that this has to change. And so I am proud to stand here, not only with the Black and Latino Caucus, but we're also standing with members from the Progressive Caucus, with members from the Women's Caucus, and we're standing at all levels of government. We're standing at the federal level, we're standing at the state level and the city level because we consistently work together. And so my challenge to you is to say, not just hold us accountable, but I'm going to hold you accountable. All the muscle and all the strength comes from your advocacy. We are empowered because of you. And so what we need you to do is not come and just listen to us today and then go back to your offices. Start to mobilize. Two people at a time, one person at a time, to start to get the emails out, to get the phone calls out. Obviously, we don't have to flood Congressman Capuano's office, but let's flood everyone's office with the federal level in particular to say something can be done, and we know the most amount of pressure comes federally. So we stand to say, yes, we're going to do a proclamation here at the state level. It's great to see that. I'm sure Tim and the members down at the City Hall will do something similar with the mayor, but let's stand at all levels, and you all react at all levels to say, we must change this, and it has to end now. So thank you for coming, but this is not just it. Get out and make sure you do something tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Representative Holmes. Thank you, Representative Holmes. And finally, we also have with us one of the final speakers, Brian Kincannon, who is with the Institute for Justice and Democracy in Haiti. But before Brian, I want to recognize my good friend and colleague, Senator Ken Donnelly, who's here with us as well.
Crowd surf down.
Crowd surf. That's good.
Thank you, Senator Forry, and thank you, everybody. I really don't have too much to add to all the very eloquent descriptions before, except just to reiterate that not only is the deportation crisis inhuman and immoral, it is illegal. The Dominican Republic is breaking international law through these deportations, and there should be consequences for that, and the U.S. government can help make that happen. I would just add one more thing for people who want to get involved and people who are organizing actions. We have a website, it's HaitiJustice.org, and we have a special section with information about this crisis and what you can do. So people looking for information, please see that. And people who have information they'd like posted, just let us know and we'll get it up there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know it is hot as heck out here, but I appreciate you all being here. I want to also recognize Representative Michelle Dubois, who's here with us. So thank you, Michelle, for coming out. Okay, you guys, we're going to wrap this up. But as we close out, you know, I just want to recognize the organizations that are here today that are supporting this cause. You heard Congressman Capuano, no doubt, the Haitian Multi-Service Center, the Haitian-American Public Health Institute, the Christian Haitian Entrepreneurial Society, Institute for Justice and Democracy, Irish International Immigrant Center, SEIU 1199, Urban League, so many people, AFAB, the Mayor's Office of New Bostonians. I say this because it's going to take all of us working together and demanding that this stops, what's going on in the Dominican Republic stops. So I just say this in my final remarks. Whew, there's a lot going on, you guys. There's a lot happening. It is time for us to send a collective and clear message that we expect the DR to treat its citizens with respect. The people of the Haitian diaspora here in the United States and our allies can and should take immediate action. We want you to call on your elected officials in our federal government and ask them to speak publicly and demand a halt to the Dominican Republic's policy regarding the deportation of Dominicans of Haitian descent. 2, we want to be respectful in our words. The people of the Dominican Republic are our neighbors, our friends, and our family. The inhumane policy that their current government is pursuing does not reflect the views of all Dominicans, so many of whom have roots in Haiti as well. We must maintain a civil and amicable posture. This disagreement can and should be resolved. 3, Haitian Americans and our allies should reconsider any existing plans to vacation in the Dominican Republic until its government reverses course and stops plans to repatriate Dominicans who happen to be of Haitian descent. Haiti has developed wonderful tourism amenities and is ready and eager to receive you with open arms. The American travel market is a key economic lever that can be used to influence Dominican decision makers. 4, spread the word. Spread the word and use social media. Talk to your friends who may not understand the issue. Explain to them why this action is necessary and encourage them to stand with us in solidarity. This may seem like small steps, but collectively, I believe they will be persuasive. Thank you for coming out today, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Questions? I also want to recognize Representative Sean Garberly, who just joined us. Any questions?
When did it start, Senator? When did it start? Yeah. Oh, sorry. How long has this crisis been going on?
Well, the ruling came out in 2013. That's when the Supreme Court did the ruling, was in 2013.
And the deportation has been going on?
Deportation has been off and on in Haiti for, I would say, years, over 50 years. So that's been an ongoing issue. What they've done at this point is actually put in their constitution the fact that they will deport the Haitians of Dominicans of Haitian descent. So this is the first time where they've now codified it. And so, but the reality is that since the 1800s, Haitians have been being taken over to the Dominican Republic to work in the sugarcane fields. And in fact, because of the Central American Trade Free Agreement had to be amended so that we could ask for more humanitarian treatment of those poor people on what we used to call company towns, because that's essentially what they were, the batais. They're essentially company towns. They didn't have any birth certificates. They can't leave the country. They don't get any real money. Everything they spend, they have to spend right there, and they end up owning the company owner, town owner. And so this issue has continued. Now, the Dominican Republic has the fastest growing economy in the Caribbean. That's what the World Bank says for between 2009 and 2013. Fastest growing economy. And so the need, and also the sugar quotas have changed over the years, so you probably don't need all those people in the country right now. And so now there's this effort where you codified it. So it's really an economic problem that they're now shifting into a human rights issue, and we need to stop it because those people are properly Dominicans, and they should be respected in their own country and supported in their own country. And then I think, and as part of our foreign policy, we should figure out how we support those people in the Dominican Republic, because that is who they are. They don't speak any Spanish, well, they speak Spanish, they don't speak any Creole, they don't speak any, they have no connections there. So when you drop them there, what are you doing? You're creating a crisis for another part of the island that's already does not have strong civil society organizations nor government. So you're creating a crisis for a place that we're trying to stabilize right now. It needs to stop.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
How you doing?
It was like a year and a half ago.
Senators up there called for a boycott of travel to the Dominican Republic, and in your remarks you suggested maybe too soon because you're just going to be hurting Dominicans. I mean, what do you think of them calling for this travel?
I think, you know, any conversation around boycotts sort of exhausting all efforts to improve the situation, the humanitarian situation in the DR, is only going to hurt the poor people of the Dominican Republic. The people that work on the resorts, the people that work on the fields that as a result of the tourism industry are going to be the most hurt by any type of boycott. And that includes people of Haitian descent or Dominicans of Haitian descent that reside in the Dominican Republic and work on the sugarcane fields, work in the resorts. They're going to be devastated by this. And I think the message that we need to send is really to the political officials in the Dominican Republic that do not understand that you can't just denationalize folks that have been living in the Dominican Republic for decades. And that's really the issue. And the issue is also, how do we improve the economy of the Dominican Republic? How do we improve the economy of Haiti? How do we ensure that our politicians are operating at the highest levels of ethics and that they're really demonstrating the highest levels of democratic ideals? And that's really where I think our communities need to come together to push this forward.
So is this one of those issues?